Alrighty, for Halloween season, we
highly recommend Zodiac. Wow, what a movie, man. It is outstanding.
Epic.
It is. It is about this guy's obsession with the Zodiac killer, and everybody in it is just,
firing 150%.
Yeah. And
from Jake Gyllenhaal to Mr. Iron Man himself.
Robert Downey, yes. And Mark Ruffalo.
Yes.
And, everybody else, they were just, and the way they depicted the periods, it was so well made.
It was perfect.
Because,
as perfect a film as you can get.
It is, just about. The pace was just right. The tone of it,
the music,
the sets, the costumes were all just spot on. The cars, the periods, the way they were depicted. Over the years too, from the late 60s to the late 70s into the 80s, all the way to 1991. All of that was really well presented.
Not one case of a Roman wearing shoes.
No, and nothing like
Roman wearing Nikes. Excuse me.
Right, or somebody wearing something out of date or something like that.
Wrong period.
Period. No, it was all really, the attention to detail was out. It is a really outstanding film.
Now I asked,
and it's a true story, and it's almost presented almost like a documentary.
Yes.
It's dramatized obviously, but it's almost documentary-ish in its presentation, and it really sucks you in, man.
Now I asked Eric, because throughout the whole movie, almost a 3-hour movie, right?
Yeah.
But it didn't feel like it.
2 hours 40.
It didn't feel like it was, this arduous.
No, it wasn't interminable. It was, you didn't want it to end.
Yeah.
Really,
But because he's gone on and on and on, and he's correctly so, about the sets and everything just was spot on correct. So I asked him, I go, is it because we don't have movies like this anymore? Or they're heavily CGI'd? Or they're just shite to begin with? That you just see a normal movie that I don't think it did exceptionally well? Or it was just a movie to put out?
Yeah, but it was an outstanding film, man.
So what I'm asking is it because we don't get those types of movies is why a movie like this is now an exemplar?
I don't know. Even at the time, I think it would have stood out. It was made in 2007.
Yeah.
Which I don't think they could have been made today.
No.
Like it was done here in that,
Because the patriarchy?
Well, because the overall, trend in the industry where everything has to be based on something, which I guess this was based on a true story, and it was familiar enough, title.
Material, yeah.
But I just don't think of. Maybe it's like Oppenheimer kind of thing that was just recently released, and it was really well done like that too. But they're few and far between, is what I'm saying. Anywhere you look, it's few and far between you get a movie like Zodiac. It's outstanding.
Now, when I watch this, every time I watch this movie, I think about the California 7, which is something you'll have to Google and look up, and then about the MK Ultra projects that were done in the Bay Area in the 60s that tie into Manson, the Manson family.
Yeah.
And I can't help but wonder if this is another CIA experiment that they were just doing, if it was something like they did in New Jersey where they just released, they gassed the place with stuff to see what it would do to the population. So I just can't help but think that this was created by...
never know, because there was a whole lot of shady stuff going on.
Yeah.
In those days, by the government,
In those days, okay.
In those days. Yeah, well...
Still today. But anyway.
But that have come out.
Yes.
That we have knowledge of.
Yes.
The acid tests and all those things.
So I just couldn't help but think what part of the government or parts of the government could you even call the CIA a part of the government? They're kind of Section 31 to me. But hey, anyway, what role they played given what we've learned about these tests and stuff that have been done on the American populace in certain areas. And the free clinics that they had in the Bay Area where they would dose people with acid and stuff, and just it's so it's just like, so this was created by essentially the government, and is he a byproduct of that? Outside of his military training, the person who they believe was the Zodiac.
You never know, man. It could be something like that. It would just have to be, something that you have some kind of documented, evidence that he was a part of something along those lines, of one of those programs that,
yes,
and that would totally be a connection.
So if somebody wants to do a book or find a way,
but
do some research, there's an idea for you, kids.
Anyway, besides that though, I mean, yeah,
and we got an appearance.
It really seemed conclusive that they did solve the case.
Yes.
And the man suffered a heart attack and died before they could bring charges against him,
yes,
or bring it to trial.
Bring him in and detain him, yeah.
He remains the prime and only suspect.
Yes.
In the Zodiac case.
And there will be those people that say, oh, well, the DNA.
And it was all about this one guy, this cartoonist, and his obsession with it, that he would not let go of it over all those years. He did eventually successfully solve it and wrote a book about it.
Yes.
Yeah. And he still lives well and
I don't know about in 23 or 24, but at the time of the movie, he was still alive.
Well, as of 07, when the movie was made,
yes,
he was still, alive and well, and living with his kids, and had not received any kind of weird anonymous phone calls since this man's passing. So it's pretty much conclusive that it had to have been him, but it's still officially unsolved.
Yes.
Or
active investigation.
And he is still the prime suspect, but he's passed. So what do you do about that? Anyway, that's trippy, man.
Yeah.
It is, because that was one of the biggest mysteries of our time.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, I remember hearing about it when I was a kid, even, Zodiac this or that, and nothing for a while, and all of a sudden some update on this Zodiac thing, and I guess it must have been this one guy. And
he just wouldn't let it go.
It was just really, really well done, man.
This way or not at all, right?
Yeah. So highly recommend Zodiac, for sure. It's
not a. Is it a thriller?
Well,
it's hard.
I don't know, man. Like I say, it comes across to me like very documentary-ish.
But it's not so, as a documentary, but yeah.
It's not a true documentary, but it's like a dramatized,
slightly dramatized.
Based upon true story and all these actual events, and I don't know how much of it was really, really true and how much of it they had to fudge for their storytelling needs, because they always do that. But it was just really just well presented, and it's the story of a serial killer, so it fits the season right now.
Yes.
And I wouldn't call it horror, not by any means, but it's just a great dramatic film, man. It's awesome.
If you haven't seen it, see it.
Oh yeah, do yourself a favor, because it is worth your 2.5 hours. Time well spent, man.
So, tell us, do you like the movie? What did we get right? What did we get wrong? Leave a comment, like, and subscribe.